Herd mentality is also one of the reasons why my voice is the way that it is. Welcome and welcome back, everybody. Tabletop Toki here. Happy 2024. It is the new year, and I would like to start this video with some exciting news. Last year, I set out to play every game in my collection in 1 year, and I'm very happy and relieved to say that I was able to pull it off. I played all 578 games that currently stand in my collection. Now, throughout the year, my collection underwent a lot of different changes. I sold over 100 of the games that I owned, bought back just about as many. It was a really interesting process. I had a lot of nostalgia playing games that I haven't played in years or that I've been holding on to because they were staples in my collection for so long. It really opened my eyes to how much my taste in games have changed over the years and which games really deserve a place in my shelf. As to whether I'd do this challenge again, I'm not sure. Those of you who are on Instagram probably saw that it literally took me up to the last second to finish this out. So I don't know that I'll be doing this challenge again this year, but I am super glad that I undertook this for 2023. And speaking of 2023, my plan is to make a video recapping the year, talking about my top 10 played games from last year. So be on the lookout for that. But as of today, we're going to be going over my board game plays to round out the year for December. So in December, I've had 101 plays of 87 different games, about a dozen or so, which were new to me. The first one up here on the list is Runebound, just a super classic fantasy game. Instead of having sprawling campaigns though, you can play it all in one sitting, which I love. This is one of those games that's been in my collection for a really long time that I hadn't gotten to play in years, and I'm really glad to say that it definitely stood the test of time. I also got to try Sea of Thieves for a first time and Dracula vs. Van Helsing on Board Game Arena. This is kind of a follow-up to Jekyll vs. Hyde, where you have two players who are trying to achieve different win conditions. This game focuses on some hidden information and card management though, and it was a really interesting one. I am really trying to hold back from ordering it from overseas because it's not out in the States yet, but we'll see what happens with that. I also had first and many other plays of The Last Lighthouse from Button Shy Games. If you want more information on this one, you can definitely check out the video I made last week on it. And it's also currently up on Kickstarter if you want to check it out there. Herd mentality is a party game where you are going to try to be part of the pack in giving your responses. Herd mentality is also one of the reasons why my voice is the way that it is. We had a lot of debates on New Year's Eve about some of the answers that were given. Got a little rowdy, but this was an interesting one. More of a social activity than a game, but it was an enjoyable experience all around. Christmas Tree is a tile placement game that I played at my local game store. I was barely able to wrap my head around the scoring because we used diamonds instead of squares or hexes, and for whatever reason my brain just could not comprehend that. Crossroad Hong Kong was marketed to me as between the Game Right Games version of Metro X and the original Japanese version in terms of complexity. I really love this middle type category. It gives you a little bit to chew on without being too overwhelming. This is one that I see myself playing a lot more going forward, and who knows, we might even see a video on it in the future. Moving on, another new game that I got to try was Zayoi, which was a set collection game. Exoship, which is an 18-card micro game, which I'll have a video coming out about next week, and I believe it's also in its funding stage right now if you want to check it out. Prophecy, which is a trick-taking game where you use the cards in your hand to bid on how many tricks you think you can win, so that was an interesting little twist on trick-taking. Tuki, which I got from Noble Knight Games. This game is very similar to Ubongo 3D, where everybody has the same 3D pieces and you need to construct a structure. However, in Tuki, you have one person sit out as the judge each round, which was a kind of nice breather if I'm being honest. Also with Tuki, you're stacking things vertically, so it is similar to games that I enjoy that are spatial building, block building, but different enough that I'm super glad that I have it in my collection now. And I also had my first play of Witchcraft, which is based on the Resist game system. I honestly knew almost nothing going into it, so it felt very random doing the first play because I had no concept of what was happening or what to expect with card values. So I'm really looking forward to trying this one more now that I have a little bit more of an idea. You're probably seeing a lot of solo games on here like Coffee Roaster, Wild Tales, Deep Space D6, Urbion. A lot of these games are games that I love, but since I spend a lot of my solo board game time now, prepping and creating content for YouTube, it was nice to do this challenge and force myself to use some of that solo time to sit down and play games for me. And to round things out, the last new game I played this year was I Guess This Is It. This is a two-player RPG from Button Shy Games. As y'all may know, I'm not usually into RPGs. I'm very much into very strategic types of games. This one was, I guess you could probably say, cooperative. It is a game where you are role-playing as two characters who are saying goodbye to one another, with one person staying and one person leaving. Throughout the game, you're playing cards in order to try to build off of the story and create a dialogue, matching symbols to be able to offer different things to your partner or request from them, while manipulating the amount of time that you have left to say goodbye, hoping that you end on the same page with the same amount of cards in hand, and trying to make sure that there's enough time to say all the things that you wanted to say. Playing this game as the last new game of the year was a really interesting experience. It was definitely outside of my comfort zone, but with the particularity of the theme, it was also a great opportunity to just sit and reflect, not only on how much board gaming has changed since the beginning with some of those games that I haven't played in many years that first got me into the hobby, and to where they are now and where I personally am now in terms of the amount of different types of games that I've played and gotten to experience over the years, and certainly this year. So those are my board game plays from December 2023. Like I said, I'm hoping to put out a video talking about some of the top 10 games that I played last year coming up soon-ish. Let me know in the comments down below what games you are looking forward to playing in 2024. Thanks as always for being here, and I'll see you next time. Bye.